So today's lesson is on trend lines. Our essential question: how do I use trend lines and slope to interpret data on a scatter plot and make a conclusion? Today I can use or describe data on a scatter plot so that I can interpret data to draw conclusions. I'll know I got it if I can analyze the data in the scatter plot to make predictions. All right, so let's look at what trend lines and predictions are all about. They're also called a line of best fit. When a scatter plot is linear, we already talked about that, a straight line can be drawn to show the overall trend and make predictions. All right, the other thing you can also do is you can write the equation of that trend line. So you put the line in for the best fit, closest to all of the points. All right, and we'll talk about how to do this equation. But predict the value of y when x is 15. So x is 15 is not on our graph here, and that's why they come up with this trend line equation. So then you can substitute in the 15 for the x value. So if you look at the equation that they have, the 20 is our y-intercept, so that's the plus b, plus 20, and then the slope, it goes up from 20, you can look at this point here, 20 to 40 is up 20, and then over 2, which simplifies to 10. All right, so then you can also make this prediction. What is the value of x when y is 120? So then you put the 120 where y is, and then subtract the 20 from both sides and divide by 10. So that's what we're looking at. So we're going to focus first on the trend lines. So if we look at this, which line is a trend line for the data? So this one doesn't go through the middle of it. It's just hitting these 2 points. So that's not very accurate. Look at B, way off. C looks pretty good. D's, again, way off. So C is our best answer there. So that's just picking out the trend line from the data on a multiple choice question. So here's another one. It says use the trend line to predict the value of variable J when variable K equals 6 or equals 8. Now if it's on the graph, then you can just read the data. So it says, be careful though, because this is J and this is K. So use the trend line to predict the value of variable J. So we're trying to figure out what this one is when K equals 8. So K equals 8 is right here. Go over, and it looks like it's 8. So wasn't too bad. Next one. What is the equation of this trend line? Enter your answer by filling in the boxes. So it goes through y at 24. So that's going to be the plus right here. So that answer number 2 would be 24. Now it's going down, so we should know that it's going to be a negative slope, but let's figure out what is it going down. So remember, we're going to go, so we could go, here's a point, and here's a point on that line. So it goes from 20 to 24, so that's down 4, and it goes over 0, watch your scale, 0 to 2. So that's negative 4 over 2, which simplifies to negative 2. There's your equation for that line. All right, let's look at this one. So it says the scatter plot shows the relationship between the average number of nightly customers and the number of months since a restaurant opened. So there's the time, months, and this is the average number of customers. So when they first open, 120 customers. After a month, it was here. 2 months here. Okay, but overall, the trend line shows an increase over time. So it says the equation represents the linear model for this data. So they've actually given us the equation. What does the number 120 in the equation mean in this context? Is it for every 5 months the restaurant has been open, there are 120 more customers per night? Okay, so this is 120. No, it's not increasing that much because it would be every 5 months, it would be 240. That doesn't make sense. The number of customers per night increases by 120 each month. Again, that doesn't make any sense. First night they opened, 120. Then there were 120 customers per month after the restaurant was open for 5 months. Now it changed. It was 120 the first night, and then after a month it was here, and so on. The restaurant has been open for 120 months. No, this is the time. There were 120 customers per night when the restaurant opened. That's it. Finally got to the correct answer. Next, all right, so let's see. An employee compiled sales data for a company once each month. The scatter plot shows the sales in multiples of $1,000 for the company over time in months. The equation represents the linear model for this data. So here's our months, and this is the sales per 1,000. So if this was hitting at the 10, that would be 10,000. All right, it's right there in the middle, and that's what the 12.5 is, which is actually 12,500. According to the trend line, about how much will the company's sales be after 26 months? So that's on our graph, but be careful. This is 24, this is 28. So we're going to go in the middle here, which again is in between these two. So it's between 35 and 40. So looks like A is the best answer because that's too low, that's too high, that's too high. So it would be A. And our next one. The scatter plot shows the number of pizzas sold during weeks when different numbers of coupons were issued. The equation represents the linear model for this data. So plus 43, it's right here, that's the number of pizzas sold when they started it, and then as they had the coupons, where there was an increase over the number, because the number of coupons issued. According to the model, how many more pizzas are sold for each additional coupon issued? So if you look at the equation, it's actually what your slope is. It's like the increase per coupon. It's like, what is that change in the equation? The rise over the run, the change. So it's just the slope. So it's 3.4. If you just look, and it's just an approximation here, it went from here, this like 42, 3, whatever, up to this one, less than 50. All right, so all it is your slope because it's the change. All right, so there is a class kick that you can complete. You'll need to send me a screenshot once it's completed to earn extra credit and Narwhal Bucks. So please make sure you do that to earn those points. Okay, last one. The scatter plot shows the relationship between the number of nights spent in a hotel and the total cost. So of course, as the number of nights increases, the cost increases. Which conclusion is best supported by the scatter plot? Is it A, the number of nights spent in a hotel increases, the total cost for the hotel increases? Yes. What is wrong with the other ones? Let's look. As the number of nights spent in the hotel increases, the total cost of the hotel decreases. No. As the number of nights spent in a hotel increases, the total cost for the hotel remains the same. Absolutely not. It's going up. There is no relationship between the number of nights spent in the hotel and the cost. There definitely is. It was A. There, it's increasing. The more nights you spend, the more it costs. All right, so here is what's on your schedule. This was lesson 5.02. I'm sorry. Yeah, it should be 02, trend lines. There is a quiz, so please make sure you're ready for that quiz.